Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. And I want to say Shalom to Akanakwat out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. This one's titled, Tech Billionaires Seem to Be Doom Prepping. Alright, which is the same title as, I probably won't title that, but that's the, or RE response, tech billionaires seem to be doom prepping or something along those lines, right? And it's by an article, BBC, all right, titled the same thing, Tech Billionaires Seem to Be Doom Prepping. Now, this is something we've been aware of for quite some time, not just tech billionaires, but just, you can hide tech and just put billionaires, right? Billionaires seem to be doom prepping, all right? You don't need the tech there. And this is something that we've been aware of, all right, for quite some time. As a matter of fact, I mean, we can go and see... There was, let me go and see. Because there was a lesson, I know I did one, and I know that because I did one that one of the apostles did it, because I can't remember who did it. I believe it was, I want to say it was Apostle Ramalab, and I want to say, and that's, where I ended up making my lesson, but bunker, mountain, cave, let me go and see it. Okay, let me go to oldest. Because in here, there was a video that I remember making. Let me see if I can find it. Because it was a video that was made by one of the apostles, and I ended up seeing it, and I said, all right, I want to go ahead and make a lesson on this, in a similar fashion. And I don't remember how long ago it was. It was quite a minute ago. Let's try to see if I can find it. But yeah, it was dealing with, there was a big complex out, and I don't remember exactly where. But it was a big, they're building it within a mountain. And it literally, as the scriptures say, they're building it into a giant mountain. And they had, living area, lofts. They had, recreational areas. Let's see. See. I know it's in here somewhere. I'm just trying to scroll. Just trying to scroll and see if I can see anything that sticks out. But it's not looking like so. Not looking like so. Let's see. Yeah, I can't necessarily find it. Which sucks, because I know I made one. Alright. I know I made one, I just don't know where it would be. Let me see. Shelter, maybe? No bunker. Prep. That was 2 years ago. America's already planning for nuclear war. Man, it's gonna drive me nuts, man. I wish I could find it. But let's see. Billionaire mountain Doomsday bunker, and I'll know it when I see it. That wasn't it. It was, it was carved in the side of a mountain. This looks familiar. It might be this. This is in 2022. Tech billionaires are building luxury doomsday bunkers according to a tell-all book by Douglas Rushkoff. And it doesn't really give us many photos of other than these two, but that's what it looked like. There's like a common area like this. And again, I don't remember which all of these are the ones. It was a mountain. It was an actual mountain. Like it was carved in the side of a mountain that you had to go into. And so this is, I'm not going to waste too much more time, trying to find it or talk about it. But, that's how it looked. And I like this image. But I don't like that there's people still standing. But I like that image. But, that's Esau's fantasy. Photos like this. This is Esau's fantasy. I might actually just use it and just put debunked on it. But, that's Esau's fantasy, is that, somehow, if the world does, get destroyed in this nuke, that they're going to, come out, they're going to crawl out through the fallout, right? They're going to crawl out through the fallout and, rebuild, okay? So, let's see. Let me see. I don't know if this one was, no, but it's, playing a lot of Fallout. That's one of the songs you hear. But I don't know if it was one of their fantasies about them, but it kind of is. It says crawl out through the fallout, baby, when they drop that bomb. You're not going to be able to crawl out of the fallout. You're just going to be dead. Right? That's just how it's going to go. And even back then, when was the song made? What year was this song? What year? 1960. Okay? 1960 it says. Okay? And it even said right here, it says, crawl through the fallout, baby, to my loving arms, while those ICBMs keep us free. When you hear me call out, baby, kick the wall out and crawl out to the fallout back to me. So they knew about those ICBMs. They knew it was going to be, what caused this devastation. Okay? And, people have been, back then in the 50s and the 60s, with all the Red Scare and all the different things that were going on. They that's the first wave of people that really started, prepping, right? But now the prepping has got to an extreme level. Okay, an extreme level. So we're actually going to go here and we're going to actually check out this article. That ain't it. There we go. That's what I wanted. So, tech billionaires seem to be doom prepping. Should we all be worried? Well, I wouldn't say all, right? But it says Mark Zuckerberg is said to have started work on Kulau Ranch, his sprawling 1,400-acre compound on the Hawaii island of Kauai, as far back as 2014. It says it is set to include a shelter complete with its own energy and food supplies through the carpenters. Though the carpenters and electricians working on the site were banned from talking about it by non-disclosure agreements, according to the report by Wired magazine. A 6-foot wall blocked the project from view of a nearby road. Asked last year if he was creating a doomsday bunker, the Facebook founder gave a flat no. The underground space, spanning some 5,000 square feet, is, he explained, just a little shelter, like a basement. Sure. 5,000 feet. You're gonna look at a 5,000 square foot house. It said it right here. It's considered a large, luxurious home, often called a mansion. It's just small bunker. It's bigger than most people's houses, man. What are you talking about? It says he explained it's like a little shelter. It's like a basement. That hasn't stopped the speculation, likewise, about his decision to buy 11 properties in the Crescent Park neighborhood of Palo Alto in California, apparently adding a 7,000 square foot underground space beneath. So one's even bigger than a regular standard mansion. And you say you ain't doing nothing under there? Sure. Just a little basement. For what? What are you going to put in it? That's a lot of space for just a little basement. It says, though his building permits refer to basements, according to the New York Times, some of his neighbors call it a bunker or a billionaire's bat cave. Then there's speculation around other tech leaders, some of whom appear to have been busy buying up chunks of land with underground spaces ripe for conversion into multi-million pound luxury bunkers, or dollars if you're here in America. It says, Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, has talked about an apocalypse insurance. This is something about half of the super wealthy have. He has previously claimed with New Zealand a popular destination for homes. So why? Because New Zealand's probably the least likely to be nuked, right? It says, so could they really be preparing for war, the effects of climate change, or some other catastrophic event the rest of us are have yet to know about? Yes, what do you think they're doing, man? Don't be ignorant. Let's go and get that scripture. We get it all the time. Ecclesiastes 5:15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. Really, this is not a small matter. This is a great matter. When you see all the billionaires start prepping and building bunkers, yeah, they know some shit. And that's where a lot of people get this wrong. They think that, oh, Esau don't know. No, Esau watches our videos, man. All right? The brother's in this truth. All right? Whoever's, building up the house of David, whether it be, whether it's GMS or, their affiliates, all right? I'd be considered an affiliate by nature. I say the David because, if you're building up the house of David, then you're doing the same thing as GMS's. You're all one. But you got a lot of people up there building up the house of Saul, okay? And if you're building up the house of David, who do you think they're going to be watching? They're not going to be watching these fucking bugged out guys that they paid off, okay? They're not going to be watching IUIC. They're not going to be watching ISUPK that have went and took the bag. They're on their fucking payroll. All right, GMS isn't on no payroll, and its affiliates aren't either. All right, at least they shouldn't be if they're really affiliates, right? So who do you think they're going to be listening to? Not the guys that are in their fucking pockets. All right, they're saying, hey, don't teach the name, and here's a couple $100, right? So we'll make you wealthy if you just shut the fuck up right here. So here's this. We'll get you a little camp, do this and just do what we do. They're not going to be watching those guys. They know those guys don't know because they're easily paid off. They're going to be watching the people that do know. All right, and that's GMS and they're true affiliates. Okay, and that they're watching, and that's why they're scared as fuck. Right, they are scared as fuck. All right, because they're trying to figure out how much time they got left. Okay, so they can bring the hammer down. Okay, there's another scripture. This is how Esau's he's going to come down with that hammer. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. How does he know he has a short time, but Esau doesn't? He's not spiritually inclined. He can't read the Bible and find out. He has to watch our videos. That's how. So he watches these things and tries to, pinpoint how much time he's got left. And right now he's shitting himself. He knows he doesn't have that much time left. All right? They watch the videos and compare things and say, oh shit, maybe they're right. All right, we got to hurry up. Right? As the apostle said recently, I think he said if I was I'd get it rolling probably by midway at least of next year 2026 with the RFID chip. Right? And it's true. They're beating around the bush right now. And it's all through the Most High. It's not that they're really beating around the bush. It's that the Most High is holding them back. Okay, because there's certain things that have to happen first. So Esau, right now for something they're having technological troubles. They're trying to figure something out. There's some research that they can't figure out, and the Lord hasn't given it to them yet because He's holding them back for the time being because there's some other prophecies that have to happen. All right, a couple more people that need to be woken up, and then He'll let let go of their chain, and then they'll find the technology that they need and roll out the mark of the beast. Right? Let me grab this drink. Bear with me. So yeah, man. I don't know how much of this we're gonna read, because a lot of it's just yada yada yada. But we'll read a little bit more. It says, in the last few years, the advancement of artificial intelligence, or AI, has only added to the list of potential existential woes. AI is not going to take the world out. All right, that's not how it goes. People, it's going to be a botnet. It's going to be a botnet. It's going to be like Terminator. No, mind you, the nukes are going to launch like Terminator, but it's not going to be no bots or nothing like that. All right, it's going to be Esau. All right, Esau being destructive as they always are, and they're going to destroy their own world that they live in because they're a terrible ruler and they can't rule for shit. It says, many are deeply worried at the sheer speed of the progression. As a matter of fact, there's a scripture. I can't remember how it goes. Let me see. No. Nope. No, that's not it. I'm trying to find a scripture. That wasn't it. Man. It's not it. It's gonna drive me nuts. I'm pretty sure there's a scripture that talks about that. Man, it's gonna drive me nuts. But the Lord has taken, a base man, someone who's very, very low, all right, and he's risen them up. I'm gonna use correct English. Risen them up into a position of power. Okay. Now he's given them the strength to do that, but he hasn't given them, the ability to be a great ruler. All right, because they're not a great ruler. They just kind of make do. Right. So, and that's there's a whole bunch of scriptures that talk about these devils, and and these devils are terrible rulers. Okay, they're bad. They're not good at what they do. Okay, so we're not going to keep on reading on, but you can go and see all these different things. It's just a lot. But the fact of the matter is that yes, they are prepping, and should we all be worried? No, not all, but some. Okay, let's read what people are saying. They're saying prepping for a doomsday you're actively participating in making happen is certainly an interesting strategy. It's like building a panic room in your house and then setting the house on fire. And it's true. That's what these devils are doing. They're such bad rulers. They're ruining it for themselves because they follow the philosophy of if I can't have it, then no one can. Right? If I'm gonna go down, fuck it, you're all going down with me, and I'm blowing this place up. Right? That's what they think, but they don't realize that the Lord put that mindset in them, because look, the Lord's gonna have them. Ultimately, the Lord's gonna destroy them, but it's ultimately gonna look like they destroyed themselves. They launched all these nukes and stuff when they could have just not. Right? They could have just not done it, but the Lord made them do it. He's gonna put the Spirit on them to do it. Right? It says, all that money spent built a panic room, and it could have been used to protect the house from the fire. It's true. Right here. But that would save the other people in the house. How would they be able to feel superior? It's true. So, there's a lot of different people here. It says, billionaires are destroying the planet and society in order to make money so they can doomsday prep for the destroyed planet and society that they created. So, they suck. They're not good. They're not good rulers. They fucking blow. And that's where we're going to get into Ecclesiastes 10 and 1 through 3. So in verse 1, Ecclesiastes 10 and verse 1, this is Sirach, as it would be. It's in the Apocrypha, so your red book, not your regular Bible, because the Protestants decided to remove it with Bible Destruction Act. Really is what it gets down to. But and it was in the Bible before they removed it, so they removed it because they were salty. So verse 1, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is such are all they that dwell therein. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. So an unwise king destroys his people, and that's what he does. You don't realize that this guy, man, it's fathomable through this truth, but really it's almost unfathomable. You know how dumb these people are. You know, their wickedness has blinded them, right? Their wickedness has completely blinded them, and they do things just because they can, right? This is Micah 2:1, and it says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand." Why do they do it? Because they can, right? And he's evil, right? He's evil. They're just wicked. They just do it just because. You know, it reminds me of, So I've been playing another one of the Fallout games lately, and I've played them multiple times over, but I like to replay them, you know, add mods and stuff. And I've been playing Fallout New Vegas again. And in Fallout New Vegas, there's this faction of people called the Boomers, right? Pull them up. Right? Let me see if I can get one up on the screen. Right? So there's these group of people called the Boomers, right? And Esau, it's pretty much just Esau, right? And it reminds me of them because, you know, these guys, you were on one of the vaults, they had a bunch of guns, all right, but the overseer, you know, the person in charge, wouldn't allow them to shoot any of the explosive ones. So they broke out of the vault. All they wanted to do was blow shit up. That's the only thing they liked doing, was shooting guns and blowing shit up. They really wanted to blow shit up. So they just went across the wasteland, you know, eventually inhabiting, you know, this is the mural of their story. You know, they came out from the vaults and just started blowing the fuck out of people with explosives, and got their way into Nellis Air Force Base. All right, and their dream is to, you know, raise this plane. All right, I'm not going to spoil too much if you play it, but they want to, you know, get this plane so they can, you know, blow up a whole bunch of people and all the commoners in the wasteland. Just, that's the only thing that they do. They just, like, you know, like it says, the Boomers were a group of people, were a group particularly obsessed with weapons and the right to bear them freely. It says, when the population of the vault ballooned in the early 23rd century, the vault's overseer attempted to salvage the situation by introducing population controls measures and sealing the armory. The efforts backfired as rioting began, quickly turning into a full-out rebellion. The future Boomers attacked the armory, taking most of the heavy weapons and equipment. They fought their way out of the vault, and the reactor was damaged in the attack, dooming the vault. So they just wanted to blow shit up. They just love, you know, their ideologies is isolationism and superior firepower. All right, that's what they like to do. They just like to blow shit up, right? Why? Just because they can, all right? They always talk, when you're talking to them in the game, they're always talking about blowing shit up. You know, like, oh, you know, this and this, and blowing this up, you know. And there's dialogue choice you can make, telling them how nutty they are about just always constantly, you know, they just love the sounds of explode. It's just, it's like Esau, man. They just do it just because, right? They just like to do it. It's wicked. They just like to be wicked. They just like to do it. There's no rhyme or reason for it. I mean, there is technically a rhyme or reason. The Lord has put that spirit upon them, you know, to basically be the whooping stick of Israel because of our transgressions, and, you know, to usher in the end of the world. That's really the rhyme or reason. But for them, you know, outside of that, because they're not trying to further along the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, they're just doing it unwillingly. Okay? They're doing it unwillingly. But that's, you know, the Lord put that spirit on them. But they're doing it for no reason, seemingly. but it's really because they're not working for their own what's the word? Trying to think of the way to say it. They're not working after their own goals. They're working after Yahweh Shem Shai's goals. Call it Yahweh Shem Shai. I had to think there. But yeah, they're working after the Lord's goals. Here it is this whole time they think they're doing something for them. You're not doing nothing for you. Right? But ending everything that you have, you're actively dismantling your kingdom. All right? Through Yahweh Shem Shai. It's the Lord doing it. But look what he's having you people do. Everything you do is it just stabs you in the ass. It backfires. Right? And it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Bear with me. Gotta check my phone. But yeah, it's absolutely hilarious, man. That these people are just destroying, everything that they have. So this is Proverbs 29:2, and everybody's mourning and everyone's pissed off about it, and that's because they suck. They suck at ruling. Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. These people suck, man. They can't rule for shit. Okay, how long were we at? We're at 30 minutes? 20, almost about 30 minutes. But yeah, they can't rule for anything. They're like big babies. They get upset at something and they have to go to the biggest extreme. All right, and that's why. And how did they get into power in the first place? Should be in here. Right here. Ecclesiasticus 10:8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. There's going to be a power shift. Okay, Esau is going to be on the bottom, Jacob's going to be on the top. Well, how's that going to happen? Well, we're going to talk about it in Isaiah 2 and Revelation 6, because there's got to be a power switch. And how that's going to happen is with this nuclear warfare that's going to go on. That they're through Yahweh Shem Shai, the Lord's really going to be the one doing it, but they're going to usher it in, not even realizing, right? Because the Lord, they're puppets. Right? They're the Lord's puppets, and they think that they can do everything for themselves. Oh, I'm going to be over the Lord. How are you going to be over the Lord when everything's controlled by the Lord, you dummy? You don't even know that. All right? I wouldn't even be able to take a swig of my water unless the Lord wanted me to. All right? Unless that was written in the script. All right? The Lord had me, hell, all this talking making me want to grab that water. But right now, the Lord already had this written, and it sounds ridiculous to someone who's not learned that the Lord has planned every single thing. A script writer leaves a lot of things out. The Lord has everything, all right? What you're going to be doing he already knew at 2:16 p.m. on October 14th of 2025, I'd be sitting here about ready to take a drink of water. He already knew that was going to happen, all right? Because he wrote the most perfect script that's ever been written, okay? And you can't fathom it, E, because your scripts, you got plot holes and shit. Well, you see how she was wearing those pink nails in that one scene? Well, why is she wearing blue nails in the next scene? Isn't it the same day? All these plot holes and inconsistencies. The Lord doesn't have plot holes or inconsistencies. All right, he's not like you, E. All right, he's actually good at what he does. All right, let me grab my drink. So yeah, man. Ooh. Slack you. Yeah, man. So, all of it's going to, who's it going to be transferred to? Jacob, Israel. 2nd Esdras 6:9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that falleth. Here's a great example why they don't like the Apocrypha. Scriptures just like this. They hate it. Okay? They don't like scriptures like this. They can't stand them. So let's go to Isaiah, and we're going to start up with 2:10 and just read on. Isaiah 2:10, it says, "Enter into the rock, and hide thee in the dust for the fear of the Lord, and for the glory of his majesty." So like it. The lofty looks of man, lofty is, being prideful. The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down. And the Lord alone, no one else, the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. For the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty. There you go. And let's go and get a precept. This is Esau right here. Habakkuk 2:5, it says, "Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. That's Esau right there. So he is a proud man. And as it says, going back to Isaiah 2:12, for the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon every one that is proud and lofty. So, Esau is going to be primarily the number one target, all right, with the 2/3 right behind him. Well, really, the heathen, and then the 2/3 right behind him, right? It says, and upon every one that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. So those that are brought, that are in high places are going to be brought low. It says, and upon all the cedars of Lebanon that are high and lifted up, and upon all the oaks of Bashan, and upon all the high mountains, and upon all the hills that are lifted up, and upon every high tower, and upon every fenced wall, and upon all the ships of Tarshish, and upon all the pleasant pictures, and the loftiness, again, of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. And the idols he shall utterly abolish. And they shall go into the holes of the rocks, and into the caves of the earth, for fear of the Lord, and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. How is he going to shake the earth terribly? With those nukes, man. Those ICBMs. Okay, the Lord's ultimately going to be the one controlling them, even though Esau is going to be the one that, quote unquote, launched them. The Lord's going to be in control of what goes down. He's going to put the Spirit on them to do certain things. So it's still the Lord doing it. And as you see, people are going to be hiding themselves in rocks, the caves, right? And trying to get away from, the Lord's judgment, right? It says, in that day a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made each one for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats. They're going to be taking things like their turbans. They're going to be taking things like their little statuettes of Shiva and Buddha, and they're going to be throwing them in the air. They're going to be throwing them on the ground, stomping them out, right, to the moles and the bats. Moles are very deep underground. Bats are very high above ground. So they're going to be throwing them on the ground and throwing them in the air, and they're going to be pissed. All right, Isaiah 2:21, to go into the clefts of the rocks, into the tops of the jagged rocks, that's the mountains, for fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. And that's one of the reasons I love Fallout so much too, is because there's a lot of similarities biblically. All right, and it's one of my favorite game series. All right, I love them all. All right, Fallout 3 probably being my favorite, but New Vegas is great too. Fallout 4 I even like. 76 is even good. People go, 76, it's good. It's different because it's an MMO, but it's still good. The story is good. There's a lot of good stuff in there, but I think Fallout 3 is the best because, I don't know, I feel like it has the harshest world. I feel like it's the, if you look at Fallout New Vegas, I don't want to get too much off topic talking about games, but, if you look at New Vegas's world, it looks like this, Nevada, there's, it's apocalyptic, of course, right? You can see with certain stuff, but if you look at Fallout 3, Fallout 3 is on a different level of destruction, especially if you look at, if you look at it like this, and they still have this in New Vegas, but the biggest scene that gets me, this right here, man, the Capitol. If you look at it, there's all these holes and pits, and then also another one that gets me is Fallout 4, the glowing sea. All right, this place is just completely. Now the glowing sea is more like how Babylon's gonna be. All right. It says the glowing. This is from Reddit. The glowing sea actually freaks me out in good weather. I can imagine this is what Real Ground Zero would look like. Complete destruction. It's even gonna be worse than that if you can imagine that. So, when it just has, just regular, that's how it's gonna look. Even worse though. Even worse. So, complete, utter, wiped out destruction. And the reason I brought up Fallout again is because actually last night when I was playing it there, I went into this cave and there's, skeletons in there, all right, which shows you that people tried to go and, run into there and, before the bombs dropped. And even the way the bombs dropped were very similar to the Bible. Of course, bombs dropped everywhere, and that's not how it's going to happen. I mean, it's only the complete nuclear destruction is only going to be in Babylon, and then in complete nuclear destruction in Babylon, and also nukes are going to be dropped in Israel as well. But the Great War. How long was the Great War? Fallout. I think it was 4 hours or 2 hours. It was a 2-hour nuclear exchange that ended human civilization. There you go. On October 23rd, the Great War began with the United States and China launched their nuclear weapons at each other's territories. This brief but devastating conflict led to the apocalypse and the fall of most human civilization, forcing survivors to live underground vaults. So, there you go. Yeah, man, 2 hours, but, it's close. It's close because, right here, Revelation. Actually, we'll get Revelation 18 and 10. It's also in the other scripture as well that was up, but I like Revelation 18 and 10 for what we're talking about here. So it says, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And we'll get another one. We'll give Revelation 18 and 17. And it says, For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. Nothing. That means nothing. And every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors and as many as trade by the sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? So, and they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her coastlines, for in 1 hour is she made desolate. You say, well, this doesn't make any sense because they were alive. Well, these guys were on ships, right? They were shipmasters, all right? They stood afar off. They saw Babylon in the distance, right? Babylon's going to be having the nukes. You know, some of the other people in other provinces, they're going to live. They're not going to die like that, all right? We got to have, servants. Okay, we got to have slaves, we got to have captives, we got to have servants and handmaids, as the scriptures talk about, and not everybody can die. All right, some got to go into captivity instantly. All right, so that's again with lack of understanding. So they're gonna be throwing themselves into those big complexes like that, trying to hide from the Lord, and it's just not gonna work. So we're gonna go from, where are we here? You can read up if you want, but we're just going to get the point here. We're almost at 40 minutes. This is, we're going to start with Revelation 6 and 12. It says, And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. So the sky is going to be blacked out. And the moon's going to be like into blood, red. And the stars of heaven fell into earth. These stars falling are, again, remember how we were talking about the chariots the other day, how they said clouds? Well, they got to use terminology. They can't say missile. They can't say nuke or bomb. They weren't familiar with these terms. So if you ever see a ICBM, all right, if you ever see those things falling, they look like, look, right? You saw one in the air, right? It looks like, if you just saw this part, it looks like stars falling to earth, right? It looks like stars. See them? Looks like stars falling to earth. Okay. And as a matter of fact, I'll give it the chance to show off my old Bible here. Okay, because I actually happen to have one that shows a nuke on it. Believe it or not, my Bible has a nuke on it. Check it out. Well, I'll just hold it up. Sorry, my hair's all crazy and messed up, but There you go. You see it? Right there. And you see the time's running out. Right? And on the end, you can see it. It says, the sands of time for this old sin-cursed world are fast running out. The prophecies of Yahweh's holy word are nearly all fulfilled. There you go. If you want to get this Bible, it's by Seminars. Let me switch over. It's by Seminars Unlimited. You can look up Seminars Unlimited Bible. Here it is. All right. Now, this Bible was given to me, so I don't know where it was originally from. I don't know anything about Seminars Unlimited. All I know is that whoever gave it to me, they had a couple of them, and one was given unto me, and I turned it into my study Bible. And yeah, man, I'd highly recommend getting it. All right. Well, it's got good font size. All right. Of course, it's not going to be a replacement for the 1611, because of course it doesn't have the Apocrypha. But that's where that's where I started out, was this guy right here. So and I get does mine have Strong's in Greek in it? It might. Let me see. Maybe it doesn't. I don't think this one does. I think that's a little bit of a different one, but the same art. But yeah, man, I love the art on it. I wish I could get a full. I wish I could find out who made the art. Right? I wish I could find out who made the art, because it is just it looks similar to that. Oh, save that. Oh, like that. It says, time is running out. Therefore, be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. Matthew 24:44. It's great. I love it. I love it. So, yeah, man. I just love this art, too, man. I wish I could, if I keep looking, I probably can, but I'd like to find a, I mean, that's pretty much the whole art, but, it's good art. It's really good art. So, anyway, I'm rambling. Let me get on to it. So, Revelation 6:13, and the stars of heaven fell under the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. So they just fall off, right? That's how it's going to be, with these nukes, man. They're going to be just falling from the sky, okay? And they're going to look like stars falling, okay? I showed you what they looked like. It says in verse 14, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And this right here, the heaven departed as a scroll, that's talking about the nuclear mushroom cloud, man. Don't look at a mushroom cloud. Right? Like a scroll. Right? So, especially with that first flash and those things blow off the sides, on both sides. It says, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. This is all prophesied. They're doing things that the Lord already knew they were going to do. Okay? If you can understand the Bible, it really is mind-blowing, right? Revelation 6:16, and said to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. So hide us from Yahweh Shai. All right, so from the Father and the Son, hide us. Okay, Don't let us be gotten. Please, rocks, please protect us. Right? For the day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? So yeah, man, it's we already knew this. This isn't news, but a lot of people are, might be taken by surprise by it. No, man, they've been building bunkers for years. All right, and they know that they have a little time left because they watch our videos. Okay, our meaning the House of David. Okay, because they primarily watch GMS. All right, is who they're really watching, but they might be watching people that are on the same wavelength, right? But GMS is who they really watch. I'm sure they watch a lot of the apostles, right? I'm sure the apostles scare the shit out of them. So and really they gotta they can't and that's another reason they haven't done anything as of yet. All right, they don't want to do anything just as of yet because they got to figure out what times they're in, man. If they take people out, right, then they're not gonna know what time they're in. They gotta have their people that they can watch to find out when their ass is about to be grasped. Soon. So with that, we're gonna close out. That's it. How long ago? 50 minutes, almost. So we're gonna close out there. Lord willing, it was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak B'dash. Shalom, your brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing. Shalom.